It's Monday, November 3rd, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer for the day, Mike. We have a great show for you lined up. So much has happened this past weekend. A lot to talk about, obviously, World Series, this whole UFC betting scandal, another one. Lot to talk about here. We have a great show lined up for you. There's so many other things that are slipping my mind right now. Heck, I even want to get into, maybe not today, this might be a tomorrow thing when we have a football guest, Sam Darnold MVP. Let's give the kid some love. Let's give the kid some absolute love here. All right. I mean, I don't know where to start here. Well, first of all, we'll start with the show itself. Got Corbie coming on off the hop. Gonna talk about some college football. Talking college football, break down the week that was. And then we're going to move on and talk about some college basketball as well. World Series finished this past weekend. When one door closes, another door opens. Baseball's done. Basketball, college basketball is off in the full swing. NBA, NHL tonight. Tons of action moving on. We're not going to talk about that, though. We're going to talk about some soccer. Some soccer right now. And Drunken Goon's going to come on. You guys know him as Adrian. We have a couple Champions League games we're going to get to. Finally closing out the show, Matt Winick for the college basketball opener. There's already been games played. It's crazy. I think there was a game started at like 9 a.m. But yeah, tons of college basketball. I think there's over 150 college basketball games today. Lot to talk about. Where do we start? First of all, I see you guys in the chat. Drop your comments down below. We always want to interact with you guys. Also, off the hop, do us a favor. Smash the like button. It goes a long way here on this channel. Tough. It was a tough weekend. I don't know what to say about the Jays World Series. There's so much good that goes on when your team goes on a deep run like that. We are in the city of Toronto. We've experienced so much pain. And Game 6, Game 7, was worried the whole way through. So many moments that I can think of that just were painful. Obviously, Yamamoto pitched an absolute gem in Game 6. The lodged ball in Game 6, which I feel like that was the heartbreak crazy. Of Game 7, we've kind of forgot about. IKF getting thrown out at home, bottom of the ninth, bases juiced. Literally mere inches away from winning the game for us. Miguel Rojas, who, felt like has done nothing this playoffs, ties it up for the Dodgers. There's just so many moments, so many instances during this series that, remind me of heartbreak, and I think about it, and I'm just sitting here sad. But then I look on the other side of things, and there's so many moments where things were incredible. The George Springer home run, Game 7, Seattle Mariners. Trey Yesavage throughout the literally entire playoffs, pitching absolute gem after gem after gem, breaking records as a rookie. So many things that went bad, so many things that went good. Ultimately, we didn't bring it home at the end of the day, but things would have been better if we did win, but the camaraderie, the coming together, just being around your friends and enjoying these things is kind of like what sports is for and what we live for. So in a world where we're all just glued to our phones 24/7, it's nice having your closest friends around you, enjoying a team that you love from a city that you're born in and raised in, and just that represents us. So yeah, as Toronto Blue Jays fan and the city of Toronto, I had a great time watching the series. Sucks we didn't bring it home. Felt like we should have. There's so many times where we could have, but it is what it is. That's sports.
It's literally a game of inches.
It's heartbreaking. Yeah. Kind of in my feels. Anyways, Corbie's coming on in just a second. Going to talk a lot of college football. A lot of stuff went down this weekend. Longhorns, are they back? Did they turn it around? Arch Manning looked good. Vanderbilt, got crushed early. Then they came back. SMU, are they a legit team? So many things to talk about here. But yeah, before we get into that, let's bring him on. He's a part of Bettor Odds, college football fan. And I have to give him his kudos and I have to give him his congratulations for winning the World Series. We have a little side bet. Maybe we'll get into that in just a second here. Corbie, how's it going, my friend?
What up, boys? I was having some technical difficulty. Every time I get on the show, it's just I got something going on.
It's all good.
It's my fault always. The behind the scenes guys are great, so apologies. Appreciate you filling in some time. I did hear you talking about the old Miggy home run.
Yeah.
I heard that. So yeah, you better get your chip ready, Jay. It's gonna be a fun one.
I'll try and source it for next week. Didn't announce it live on the show, but me and Corbie we're talking back and forth after last week because we made a bet. We said loser has to come on and do something. Don't bring out the bat. Don't bring out the bat. Oh God. Loser has to come on and do something, and me and Corbie agreed. Loser will have to eat the one chip challenge. I believe it's Hot Ones. I don't know, something. One chip challenge live on air. So it turns out I got to do it. Corbie, you normally lead off these segments. You're normally first on Mondays, which I love having you here. But for the one chip segment, I'm gonna have to put you at the end because there's just 0% chance I can do a show like after that. So it'll be fun watching you sign off. I'm gonna try and source it for next week, if not the week after. Good, but have the floor. Congratulations. How do you feel about the win?
Yeah, I will say I got it in good there. Dodgers were 2-1 when we made the bet, and then you had a little bit of artificial, not closing line value, but you were looking good there for a second. You know, I started to get worried. I looked on Amazon how much the chips were going to cost me. I did all the stuff. I was trying to figure out if I could put just a regular Dorito in there. I seen what we could do, but I will tell the chat beforehand. I offered Jason a bailout, and that was just drink a gallon of milk on the show, and I think that would have been so much more funny. But we're gonna go with the hot chip. So yeah, I got lucky. Dodgers futures. I actually hedged out of a lot. I think I told you this, but I hedged out before game one a lot of my futures. So I was free rolling most of my Dodgers position, but it was more of just like a personal. Like I had bet Dodgers, Jason, quite literally every Monday for the entire season.
Wow.
So it just got to a number that was too big. I was like, I'm gonna take some of this out. And so yeah, congrats to the Dodgers. The Blue Jays. I've talked about this on every show I've been on, but like, my number made this game not close. My number made this Dodgers team better than every team by a factor of a lot in baseball. And the Blue Jays proved that was wrong. So it's one of those things that, like, even went down, even when I thought I was going to lose all my bets, I was like, man, this Blue Jays team deserves, like, the heart they had. Like, everyone was playing hurt. Like, Bo Bichette quite literally probably would have scored if he wasn't hurt. I mean, he got stuck on third base. So a lot of luck for the Dodgers to win that game, but overall, one of the best things that could have happened to baseball. Like, that was an incredible series.
Yeah, I think it would have been a little bit better if the Jays won, but we'll. No,
I don't know. Then we wouldn't have got the funny clips of your boys all sad in the stands. I thought that was
Jeff,
one of the best parts of the day.
That was a tough one. Jeff is now a viral meme, which is feel bad for him. It's just like I didn't even realize it was him when I saw him on the TV, but yeah, he's viral now. There's people using him to chirp Jays fans. It's just brutal stuff. Brutal stuff. I also feel terrible for all my friends that I watch with because, Corbie, I don't know if you know this, but I was like, just like, top of the ninth inning. I'm scanning, just looking at the odds. Wow, Jays are like minus 600 live right now, like minus 500 some spots. Then I go look at the MVP odds. Vladdy's like minus 200. I'm like, guys, this is wrong. Vladdy's going to win MVP if the Jays win this game. Go smash this. And, I mean, my friends did not like me after that when I covered the bill, though, for the tab. So there, maybe to make it up a little bit.
We were in a different world. I was betting Dodgers live plus 360. So I was like, 360? Come on. Hey, you think this game's going to end with 3 runs? And then they score another one. I was like, you think this game's going to end with 4 runs? It just kept clicking. So my friends loved me, and it was the luckiest hit I had in quite some time. I was silent. I will say, Jason, I was silent on the couch sitting there like, man, that sucks. Like, Miggy's up. He's never hit a home run in his whole entire life. He doesn't even know how to spell home run in English. I'm sitting there, and it just keeps on traveling and traveling. I was like, no way. So I think he said it was his first against a right-hander this year. Wow. Incredible. And it was a great pitch. Like, when Hoffman came in, I was like, yeah, I mean, we're cooked. So shout out to him. Also, I just learned today, I'm all over the place today. I just finished a college basketball show. Jason, it's day one college basketball.
I know. We're going to get into
talking about the Dodgers.
We're going to get into it.
But my last thing is I will say that I just learned, shout out to Shohei Ohtani, that he knows fluent English. Did you know this?
Yeah.
And he has an interpreter because he knows how many people watch him in Japan. All right, I'm blown away. He said thank you so much as clear as day. I was like, what are we doing here?
I always thought he had an interpreter to be his fall guy, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, it couldn't be the case, huh?
Anyways, yeah, I saw that clip. I fully thought he just didn't know a lick of English, but he does. Yeah, good for him. Shout out to the people in Japan who watch Shohei Ohtani. He was a Blue Jay for a day. For like 3 hours. All right, let's get into college football. let's talk a little bit. I know you love your college basketball, and we'll get to like college basketball at the end here. But any big reactions to Week 10? Any big upgrades, downgrades? When you take a step back, what were you right about? What were you wrong about?
Yeah, I would say that we talked about this last week, but I'm one of these guys who, and if you watch the circles off like Bettor thing, like I'm pretty convicted to my number, and I would say that it just doesn't really move at this point very much. Obviously, there's teams that like slight movements, but no, like last weekend, I would say that the big thing for me was I really think this Louisville team is really good. They covered that game, and it might look like it was a fluky cover, like it might look like they did it with a minute left to cover the 10, got lucky versus a Virginia Tech team who has 1 minute games. So like they had a lot of things go not their way in that game. Louisville, I have graded 16th in the nation, and that would be quite a hot take, I think, if you asked anybody. So it would be a Louisville. Unfortunate, Jason, we saw our boy, I tagged you in it. Yeah. Haynes King did get the loss, but I mean, he did his part. You know, he did what he could. He said he was peeing blood. So I again, this man is a dog, and I respect him enormously. That's the kind of guy I want in the NFL as my backup, but not starting quarterback, can't get it done versus NC State. So pretty boring week overall in college football. My top 5 still looks the same. Miami lost, of course, but I've talked about this on the show for months. Is like I've kind of been lower on Miami than everybody else for quite some time. So no, Ohio State still won. Ohio State still won by a lot. Indiana, Oregon, Alabama, Texas Tech at 5 for me.
Yeah, all right, it makes perfect sense there. It's funny you talked about the Miami loss. SMU upsets them. There's a lot of teams with 2 losses. A lot of teams with 2 losses coming down the stretch, and there's going to be some with 3 losses as well, just based on how the schedule works, and some of these teams are going to be playing each other. It's going to be interesting to see how the playoffs kind of shake out, because we're either going to get some teams with 3 losses, in the playoffs, or we're going to get some teams that maybe aren't as good as these 3-loss teams sneak their way in. I'm going to be interested to see how that works out. Let's talk a little bit about this SMU and Miami game. Like, I know you're low on Miami. Like, SMU's kind of like, no pun intended, maybe like a dark horse now to make the playoffs. Like I know you're high on Louisville. They play Louisville at home 2 weeks from now, which could be pivotal for them for making the conference finals here for this. So, do you think there's a way to for this SMU team to like sneak into the playoffs or sneak into the conference finals? And then also, like, what do you make of Miami now? I know you're low on them, but are like they have to win out to make the playoffs. Are they even like contenders if they do?
Yeah, I would say they're contenders. Low is a strong word. It's all relative, you know. Like now that they have 2 losses, I might be higher on Miami than everybody else's. You know, I haven't moved Miami much at all. I think I had them. Let's see. 11th. So okay. And that was like I probably should have adjusted a little bit more in the SMU game, but they had more total yards than SMU. Like, inevitably, I just don't move as much. I think that the ebbs and flows of sports are kind of silly at times. I think, Jason, this is going to be a hot take, but I think this is the year, the pinnacle year where you have the ability to say, here is why we have a 12-team playoff. Let's put in every team who's never had a shot. Let's put in North Texas at the 12th spot. Let's put in Duke at the 11th spot. Let's put in Georgia Tech at the 10th. Like, let's put in everybody. Ohio State's winning it anyways. Indiana's going to be in the championship. Let's have Ohio State and Indiana on 2 sides of the bracket. And then let's fill this thing with guys who maybe we get their schools to enjoy sports. Obviously, like, good teams. But the North Texas, the Dukes. Like, there are a lot of teams that have 2 losses who, on paper, like, is Duke better than Miami? No. I would rather have Duke in the playoffs. And I think this is kind of one of those years where you can kind of grade it out like that. Like, again, this playoff committee is humans. Like, they're choosing based off human opinion. And I think it would be pretty fun. It's what makes March Madness fun, you know? Yes. Like, everyone wants St. Peter's to do good. If North Texas was in the college football playoffs, that would be one of the most televised games of the playoffs, I would almost guarantee.
It would be a lot of fun to see, definitely. And yeah, kind of want the chaos. I want, like you said, teams that haven't felt it before. Because college football is such like it's either you're the I don't know, like the cool kids at the table, or you're not. And if you're not at the table, if you're not like one of those blue blood schools, and it's just like you're just kind of sitting on the sidelines watching, hoping you get a good bowl game. Like let's get these new teams in there. Let's get some fun going. Let's move over and talk Texas Longhorns. Do you think they've finally turn things around. Vanderbilt kind of got crushed early in that game, and it sucks that they lost. But yeah, they got crushed early in that game. They come back somehow, cover, which is, I mean, if you had Vandy, you love that. How are you reacting to this game? Like, what do you make of the Longhorns now? Any like bump up there for Arch? Do you think he looked better? Because like they were up by a ton to start, but then you let a team come back. It says a lot about you. What do you make of that game?
Yeah, the real issue is like this was tied in total yards. Yes, Texas looked good. Yeah, they beat a top 20 team. Do we think Vanderbilt offensively is amazing? Like, this is the first game Diego Pavia has put up numbers where you could go, oh, he could be in the Heisman race. Like 27 for 38, 365, and 3 touchdowns. I mean, I remember, what is the Missouri game? I could pull these stats up. I believe he had like 175 passing yards. So I think in most places, trying to find this game,
129.
14,
10 for 19.
So like, yeah, like he just, I mean, this is what he's done. So like, the fact that Pavia kind of laced up Texas, my ratings have had, I think I talked about this last week, has had Texas as a miserable offense. Just looking at my last week number, 42nd in the nation offense, which is a hot take. Their defense kind of holding the glue, and now the defense can't do anything. So maybe Arch looked better, but now their defense is the worry, and the defense is kind of what held this together. So I would still say Texas, not very good.
Okay, Texas not very good still. Again, one of those 7-2 teams. Like they're all these teams. I'm like 2 losses, and it's giving me hope for USC to like squeak their way in.
I've got USC 13th now. That's the highest they've been all year, I think.
All right. There's
pretty
my
solid number.
There's my one USC reference for the show. Smash the over. All right, let's flip over. You mentioned Pavia at like he could contend for the Heisman with the numbers that he put up against Texas. Probably won't though. 40-1, very unlikely. Seems like there is a 4-horse race for the Heisman right now. It's November, so now we can like officially talk about Heisman. Julian Sayin priced as the favorite right now, plus 175 to win the Heisman. Fernando Mendoza plus 220. Ty Simpson plus 340. Marcel Reed for Texas A&M plus 650. Then we have like a big drop off here. Do you feel like it's deserved to have these 4 guys kind of clumped together here? Do you think anyone has a chance to beat the other out? Is it Sayin's award just because how good Ohio State is and they're probably going to be undefeated? Like what's going on here for the Heisman?
Yeah, this is the most fun part about doing this every week. Is I believe 2 weeks ago I said Sayin 4-1 is the best Heisman odds because again he's the starting quarterback of the team who I think is unbelievably the best team in the nation. Now at 175 I would not be betting Julian Sayin. It would be Fernando Mendoza, but 220 I'm not running defense to. You ask if it should be kind of clumped together. I say no. I would clump 2 quarterbacks together.
Yes,
Sayin and Mendoza, and if either of them are at 3.5 to 1, I would probably take it. I would put Ty Simpson as close to Marcel Reed as you could. I've said this every single week. I don't think Ty Simpson's good. I don't think that's the hottest take. I mean, did we watch like this? Let's just use like South Carolina. They had to have a defensive touchdown still to squeak a win versus South Carolina. I don't know. I'm not buying this guy. I think he has a ton of talent and yards after the catch help his underlying fundamentals a lot. This is Julian Sands to win. And Mendoza to be the dark horse. Again, if you want to do this thing where you're like, Ohio State's winning the national championship, we want to put a lot of crappy teams in the playoffs, like Mendoza Heisman makes a lot of sense there. So a Mendoza, if I could get like a 3.5 to 1 would be the current bet. But again, 2 weeks ago, the current bet was Sayin at 4 to 1. So it's all relative price.
Yeah, of course. The goal is to build out a good portfolio here, and like you kind of just want to track things and see who plays who. But it feels like, again, Ohio State, I don't see them dropping a game, and I think one of these guys further down the board are just going to have to do something like truly extravagant to beat him out for the Heisman. Seems like Sayin's
if you wanted
the guy. Go ahead.
If you wanted to make a crazy case for a big one, which I'm not betting this, but Notre Dame's probably getting in, I would assume. Yeah, they have nobody left. Their offense hasn't looked great except one guy, Jeremiah Love. I mean, even in their close relative game versus Boston College, 17 carries, 136 yards, 8 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. Again, a running back's not winning this award, but I think I saw him at 40 to 1. That's probably a little ridiculous. I mean, I would have him better than a lot of quarterbacks, certainly.
Yeah, for sure. Like it feels like there's a couple quarterbacks ahead of him, or in the same range, kind of drawing dead, like the aforementioned Diego Pavia. Like there's really no way that they're going to win, he's going to win the award over a guy like Jeremiah Love. But yeah, all right, let's move on. Last thing here before you head out, college basketball. I'm going to give you the floor. Anything you want to talk about, either anything you like tonight. I think there's over 200 games or something like that, just under 200 games. Anything you like, or bold take, bold prediction, a future, whatever you want. This is your time to talk about what's just at.
Okay.
When I say college basketball, what's at the front of your mind? What are you thinking about the most?
Yeah, I've got one for you. You have Matthew Winick coming on. Matthew is a great college basketball mind, so I won't take too much of the time. But I'll say one thing, Jason. There is a game today, which your man himself, Jeff Nadeau, talked about on our show this morning. I did not think there would be a line for this game. There is. You can bet this. And it might be the ugliest game I've ever seen. UConn, everybody knows UConn, plays a team called New Haven today, Jason. They are the newest D1 team. Typically, you bring in good D2 teams or regionally sound. Not New Haven. New Haven, 7-13 last year in conference in D2. They played one D2 ranked team last year. They were down 19 in that game with 1 minute left. They are awful. They play UConn tonight at home. UConn a 41-point favorite. I just don't think you can line that game high enough. It's going to be a bunch of bad D2 players versus UConn, who has shown for years they don't want to let off the gas in these kind of games. So 41 is crazy. I know it doesn't sound fun. It's an extra board game, but UConn's going to blast. I think that probably worst case scenario, you're at 36. And then all the upside is towards UConn here.
Yeah, fair enough. It's funny. You mentioned that it's 41.5. Actually, it's moved right now. It's 42.5, 43.5 now at some places. So the market influence from you and Jeff Nadeau over there on that other show, aforementioned show there of college basketball. I think that might be what's pushing it. But yeah, 43.5. I don't think I've ever seen a number that big for any basketball game in my entire life. Corbie, appreciate you joining the show. Hopefully I can get the chip for you next week, and yeah, we'll work it out. Anyways, appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
All right, boys. It was fun.
See ya. Great stuff there from Corbie, breaking down some college basketball. A 43.5 point game is just utterly absurd. Utterly absurd. We got Adrian coming on next, also known as Drunken Goon. You guys know him from the chat, Forward Progress chat. You've seen him around here. Big soccer fan, soccer enjoyer. Before we do that, though, just want to give quickly a shout out to our sponsors over at FanDuel. Buckets, buzzer beaters, and your choice of rewards. That's how FanDuel does basketball this season. With FanDuel, you can choose your reward, play it your way, pick what fits your game, and take control of how you bet. Take your shot with a profit boost, play it cool with a no sweat, or get a little backup with a bet back token. There's tons of different ways you can bet on FanDuel. Tons of different ways you can use those profit boost tokens as well. Honestly, me, haven't looked into it yet, but I'm probably going to take a stab at something I don't know, maybe I'll put a profit boost on Peyton Pritchard over 1.5 steals at plus 198, which is the best price in market. And you can use your profit boost to get an even better price on the market. So whatever fits your game, the choice is yours. That's what happens when you play on a sportsbook built for your game. However you play FanDuel, FanDuel's giving you the power to choose your reward. Head to FanDuel.com/forward progress to make your choice. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, 19 plus and physically located in Ontario, or 18 plus and present in Kentucky or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In New York, call Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. All right. Stumbled through that ad read. Wasn't my best performance. Up next, we got a big soccer fan, like I mentioned. You know him from the chat. You know him from Forward Progress. Adrian, Drunken Goon. How's it going, my friend?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Sound check.
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go. You're good to go.
First,
How are you feeling? I know you're not from the Toronto area, but you live relatively close to here. Are you a Blue Jays fan? Are you as heartbroken as we were watching that kind of whole thing
yeah,
break down?
definitely. I got into them when I was working in Toronto in 92, 93. And it was time for another chip, but stuff happens.
It happens. Heartbreaking. Hopefully, again, like I said off the top of the show, you're able to enjoy it, enjoy those moments. It's about, for me at least, the journey, the ride, just getting there. Sometimes you can't get, but let's.
It was weird for me because I watched the Yankee series, and then I traveled and I came back for like Game 3 of the World Series, so I missed that whole momentum part in the middle. But I was following from afar.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Anyways, we're not here to talk about soccer. We're not here to talk about baseball. We're here to talk about soccer. Some Champions League games coming up that you really like. Let's head over to Juventus and Sporting. Let's talk through and see, what do you like in this game? What do you like here? You sent me a couple games, 4 of them. Let's start with this one though, Juventus and Sporting. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I think we're spoiled on Tuesday. We got some really interesting games. We can start with the Juventus Sporting. Juve just moved on from their coach Tudor. They had a 9-game winless streak, and last week they decided it was time to cut him loose. They had an interim manager in midweek. They won that game, and then they brought in Spalletti, pretty famous Italian coach. He's coached Roma and they won the title with Napoli a couple of years ago. He was coaching the national team and then got the boot there. So he's kind of touring all the big clubs. He took over before the weekend, and they won and kind of boosted their status a little bit. He's going to make some changes. They used to play with 3 at the back under Tudor. Now they're going to go with 4-3-3. Mm-hmm. That's Spalletti's formation. And it's interesting because they made some transactions in the summer. They brought in Jonathan David and another guy from Lille that they used to play together. And under Tudor, David and Gigrova didn't really play much together. They made a big investment in both of them, so I think it's time that we see them they play together. There's a lot of talent on Juve. They still have an injury at the back in Brenner. That's going to take another month for him to get back on the pitch. So playing with 4 at the back is going to help in his absence. We've seen some good things from them. They've tied 2 and lost a close one to Real Madrid in the last group stage. I think it's time for them to step it up a little bit and put 3 points on the board and make sure that they qualify. Playing against Sporting is a team that likes to open up and trade chances on the road. I think they scored in like their last 16 group stage games. So they're not a team that bunkers down. That should help Juventus. They have a little bit more quality. They should be able to break them down. And 2-1's the most likely result in the Sporting away games in Champions League. So I think Juve can pull that off. The price is decent. I played at Juventus -0.5, -102. It's good to -150, and I think FanDuel was at -110 when I checked. So that's a good bet. So
yeah, -0.5, -110 available there. Pretty widely available number 2 if you can't find that at FanDuel. Across the board, I think I see 108s, 115s. Don't play those. Play the 110s at FanDuel. We're looking at Juventus there for this game. Let's flip over and talk next game. PSG taking on Bayern Munich. Talk us through this one as well.
That's a biggie. That's my favorite game of the week. We saw them play. Bayern won the Champions League and after COVID against PSG. Bayern won the group stage 1-0 last year when PSG was having a tough time trying to get through the group stage. PSG flipped the script on them at the Club World Cup and won 2-0 in the summer. But it was one of those games that could have gone either way. That's the game Musiala got injured in. And I think PSG finished with 9 men, so they barely hang on at the end, winning 2-0 with the on-late goal. Bayern was the better team then, but it's things have changed a little bit since. PSG is pretty healthy. They're getting Dembele back for this game, and they only miss Doué and Zabarni. For Bayern, only long-term injuries. They're still without Ito and Alphonso Davies. Musiala's back in practice from that broken leg injury, but it's a little too early for him to play here. I saw Bayern at the weekend. They jumped out to a 3-0 lead over Leverkusen in a big derby in Germany, and then they shut it down in the second half. Most of their attackers were on the bench to start the game. They came on, but didn't really bother going for it at the end. I had an over 3.5, so that kind of pissed me off, but it ended up 3-0. I think both teams are ready. This is a game that it's just kind of a measuring stick for both teams.
Mhm.
I don't have a bet on it, but it's a game worth enjoying. I think we'll see some goals. 3.5 is a big total, but it probably goes over.
Yeah, 3.5 are over there at FanDuel -105. Towards the over if you're looking around the best price in market, unless you're looking out of all the legals at the very least. That game is at 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Everything's at 3 p.m. tomorrow. All the good games are at 3
all the
p.m.
good games. So you got to get again the multi-TV setup is where it's at, as I've been preaching for my entire time here at the Hammer. Up next, Liverpool, Real Madrid. Do you have a bet on this one, or is this just another?
I don't have a
great
bet on
game?
this one either.
Talk us
I
through
know
it.
people like to have a big bet on the big games on TV. I look for value. This one's another one that it's interesting. Trent Alexander-Arnold's back, long time Liverpool right back. He played there 9 seasons and 350 games. He's the villain, moved over to Real Madrid in the summer. So it will be interesting to see how Anfield welcomes him back. Liverpool has some holes in their lineup with goalkeeper Alisson and striker new signing Isaac out injured. Frimpong was TA's replacement, and he's out injured as well. So it's basically down to a third stringer at the right back with Conor Bradley starting in that 4-2-3-1 Liverpool lineup. For Xabi Alonso at Real, not a lot of problems. Only Carvajal's out long term. This should be a cracker. Liverpool have had some trouble scoring recently. They figured that out at the weekend. So, there's nothing coming up at the weekend to slow them down. Both teams should be going for it. So it should be a cracker of a game.
All right.
Gun to my head, I'll probably play Liverpool here, but no official bet.
Yeah, no official bet, but if you like Liverpool, you can take them on the 3-way money line over at FanDuel at +160, which is pretty decent out there compared to some other especially the sharper books. Close it out with the last game here. Ajax Galatasaray. This is, I believe, is on the Wednesday. Anything you like in this game? I assume you have a bet here for this one.
I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. I was looking at it. I was looking at an Ajax future bet, but it didn't quite pan out. So let's flip over to Marseille Atalanta.
Okay.
Another game on Wednesday. Atalanta finally lost their first game in Serie A this season. They're one of those teams that just draws. I think they're like 2 wins, 7 draws, and 1 tie. They also drew in Champions League as well. They have changed quite a bit from their style of play in the past seasons. It kind of burned me at the start of the season. I thought they would be the same type of attacking team, but they're a boring team. Their coach is making changes that don't really make a lot of sense. They're playing midfielders at center back. They're trying different formations, not always playing their best 11. So it's a bit of they lost their first game this weekend, and there's a little bit of pressure on them right now. They have this Champions League game midweek and another game at the weekend before the international break, and the Coliseum crowds, although they don't have a Coliseum in Atlanta, they want to see some blood. So I expect them to try to open up a little bit. Marseille is a team that had really serious issues with discipline. They had players fighting in the locker room after an early season game. They managed to ship the guy out to Milan, and things have quieted down. The new signings, Paixão from Feyenoord came in, and he's starting to click now. They're really unlucky in their trip to Sporting to lose 2-1. They scored first. They thought they had a penalty. Turned out it was a dive, and their guy took a second yellow on that, and kind of the game swung on that. They ended up losing 2-1 late on another VAR goal and a deflection. So it was undeserved, but they're pumping in goals like crazy in League One. They're second behind PSG. I mean, nobody's going to keep up with them, with PSG, but Marseille is doing a good job so far. They play with speed. They take the game at the opposition. Atlanta's defense is a little slow-footed, and with Greenwood and Aubameyang and Paixão, I think Marseille has the speed to ask some questions of them. And if they get the first goal, that should force Atalanta to open up, and that's not the style they want to play. So I think Marseille pulls this off. There's 2 options here. You can bet -0.5 +115. That's good 2 evens for me. But because of Atalanta's tendency to draw games, I'd rather play the -0.25 -115. That one's good to 125. Just in case of a draw, you get half your stick back.
All right, yeah. -0.25 is at the Asian handicaps. That was called. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Anyways, -0.25. You can find that pretty widely available. Before you head out here, Adrian, anything you
I
like?
got some futures if you have another minute.
That's what I was going to ask. That's literally, you're reading my mind here. Anything you like in terms of the futures board? Talk us through.
Yeah, so what I did is I looked at FanDuel. It's that time of the season when the bookies are busy with all the action, and sometimes things don't get adjusted as things happen. I have actually like 6 plays, 2 of them half unit and 4 of them quarter unit. All of them are based on the 2 advance, but not top 8 market. I'll just name the price and give you a quick reason. Karabakh minus 165. That's a half unit. I priced it minus 250. They're sitting on 6 points, and it takes about 9 to get through. I think they can win another game and probably squeeze some more points. So that's pretty good value. Minus 165 to minus 250, my price. PSV minus 110 to advance, but not top 8. I have that priced to minus 140. They're on 4 points and playing well. Not an easy schedule, but some value there. And then I have 4 smaller plays. PSV was also half a unit. The other 4 plays are Bruges plus 105 to advance, but not top 8. I have the price minus 143. Union Saint-Gilloise plus 350 to advance, but not top 8. I priced it minus plus 150, so that's really good value. And then a tricky one, Barcelona plus 370 to advance, but not top 8. So that means they are currently in the top 8. For them to slip down below the line there and still finish in the top 24, which should not be a problem. Plus 370, and I have that plus 180. So good value there. And finally, a long shot, Paphos plus 600 to advance, but not top 8. I have that price about plus 300 right now.
All right, perfect. Appreciate all those. If you want to find that over on FanDuel, just search to finish 9-24, 9 to 24, and then it'll pop up as the first thing populated under the search bar. Adrian, appreciate you joining the show. We're going to see you in the chat tonight on Forward Progress Monday stream. We'll see you there. Awesome stuff, Adrian. Appreciate you joining the show. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
All right, see ya. Good stuff there from Adrian. Tons of bets. I love it. Giving out some futures, giving out some sides, giving out a total as well. Giving you everything you need for the Tuesday action, Tuesday Champions League action, for you to have like some sweats, some bets, and just enjoy the whole thing. We have Matthew Winick coming up. Going to talk some college basketball, massive college basketball slate. Was it 200 games? Before we do that, though, just want to quickly remind you guys that we have our newsletter. Not sure if you guys are aware, but we have a pretty good newsletter. 3 times a week, we're giving out the newsletter. Monday, you're going to be getting injury reports, kind of going through the entire NFL slate. Who left the games early? This is stuff that you don't normally get packaged together for yourself. So if you're like looking to bet some early stuff and early numbers, and you're not really sure who's hurt, who's not hurt, we're going to parse through and find you all the injuries, send it your way right to your mailbox. We also have some takeaways from Suma, from the NFL, from the week that was, his top 5 biggest takeaways. Also, last thing that's on there as well on the Monday is Alex is going to share his early leans on the NHL. So you're going to want to do that. Wednesday as well, our newsletter is going to come out a little bit later in the day. Monday is coming out in the morning. Wednesday a little bit later in the day because we're waiting for those first round of practices to come through from the NFL. Just give you all the practice reports, pre-packaged, easy, all in the same place, plus BetStamp's giving you out some plus EV props. And then there's so much more as well on Friday. We have Kirk's Hammer, which he writes about everything and anything in the betting industry, things that help him make him be a better, some things that he's interested in. All that stuff it can be found right now at thehammer.bet. So you're going to want to go and check that out. That's at thehammer.bet. All right. College basketball. I'm excited to talk college basketball because for me, normally, I'm a casual. I wait until March and then I'm the college basketball guy. But I can't wait to talk throughout the entire year and kind of get my hands a little bit dirty, talking through all these multiple basketball teams and just learning more. So we're going to do that together as an audience. He's a college basketball analyst. He's a consultant. He does content for the Basketball Review. Matthew Winick, how's it going, my friend?
How's it going? Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on today as well. I know it's probably a super busy day for you with how many games are there? I counted like over between 150 and 200. Is it over 200 or is it just?
It is not over 200.
Okay.
There would probably not even be enough teams to play 200. Obviously, not all games are D1 versus D1. There's 109 D1 versus D1 games.
Okay, 109 D1 versus D1 games. So there's a ton of things to talk about and bet on. Corbie came on earlier mentioning UConn playing some, I don't even know who, but it was like a 43.5 point spread. So we're going to get anything and everything today. So let's start things off with some futures here. Then we'll talk about some of the games you're most interested in tonight. Before we get into like granular futures and different markets and such, are there any teams that just taking a step back at that you're looking at the market right now, you're looking at where they're pricing futures, where they're priced for the first game of the season, and you're just saying, you know what, like, this is wrong. I want to come in a lot higher on this team. And then the inverse, is there any team that's like, whoa, how is this team rated so high in market? They should be a lot lower. Who are your teams that you're high on and low on?
Yeah, I would say if we're talking specifically national championship futures, which is obviously the most popular of them all, Texas Tech would be a team that's probably a little bit underrated. They're not very deep. They don't have a big bench, so they're kind of getting hit in like power rankings. But of course, when you're talking about March Madness, all you got to do is get in, get a favorable matchup, and you can ride your 6, 7, 8 best players to a title. So I think they're a good bet, especially if they have a good start to the season. A team that I think is probably a little bit overrated is St. John's. Everyone loves Rick Pitino. Last year, they bowed out very early, and I just think this team is worse than last year. That got a 2 seed and then fell in the round of 32 the first weekend to Arkansas. So that's a team I probably would not be looking into, especially where they're priced right now.
All right, so Texas Tech high on, and then St. John's lower on. Let's flip over and talk some John R. Woodman Award stuff. Is there anyone you like, any names that you want to shout out here for this award? Are you looking at the top of the board? Is there anyone down at the very bottom that you like to take some dart throws out? Talk us through this one here.
Yeah, there's no clear favorite, so you could really go a whole ton of different ways. I would say that, you're probably going to want to keep it pretty high up on the board. I wouldn't dive too deep into options. If you're looking for someone that isn't, number one, Darren Peterson, who might be the number one pick in the NBA draft, has a chance to be an ultra elite scorer and someone who is talked about on the airwaves, day in, day out. And obviously, to an extent, we're talking about a voter award. You want someone that's going to have the name brand and the notoriety. I think there's no reason why he can't be one of those people in the short, front runner conversation.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. Any love for Cameron Boozer? I know I listen to a lot of Corbie stuff and talk to Corbie about. Listen, I don't talk to him seriously about the stuff. It's more casual. Just ask him questions. I know he likes Boozer at 10-1. Or would you rather? What do you like Cameron Boozer at 10-1, or do you need like a little bit better odds there?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's Duke. He's going to be on TV every day. He's going to be their best scorer. He's going to average a double-double. Like, absolutely, there's a real chance that it ends up being him. I just think that Darren Peterson is going to, would you rather like 16 points and 12 rebounds or 22 points, which is probably the difference between their two stat lines. Okay, makes perfect sense.
Let's flip over and talk. Any conference bets you like? We don't have to get too deep into that stuff, but anything you like there? Have you looked at the board at all for like maybe the bigger conferences like the ACC, Big 10, Big 12, Big East, SEC? Anything from those conferences, or even you can go off the board, whatever you want. This is the floor is yours. I want you to talk through this stuff.
We'll keep it pretty high level. I would say that Purdue is a decent bet. They're around even, maybe a little bit plus money. They're probably going to win the Big Ten. They're the best team. They returned their 3 best players from a really good team last year. And they're heavily favored. I would have them as a larger favorite to win the Big Ten. Obviously, it's a great league that's really deep and a lot of really strong teams, but the floor on that squad is extremely high. It'd be pretty tough for me to not see them come out on top.
Yeah, Purdue, I think looks like plus 185 over here at FanDuel to be the regular season winner of the Big Ten Conference. Let's get in the nitty-gritty. Let's talk about the games today. We can go high-level stuff. We can talk about like some top 25 ranked teams. We can go deep down in the trenches to like some of the ugliest games on the board. Whatever you want to talk about, I'm going to let you lead the way. But I'm not looking for a game that you're interested in watching. I'm looking for a game that you're kind of interested in picking apart information from, whether it be about a certain team tendency, how they're going to play, if it's a player usage, if you're looking for an individual player itself. Like, what are you looking forward to most of all these games? Like, pick one game that you're just like, I need to watch this just to see what happens and the outcome of it.
Yeah, well, they have the doubleheader in Las Vegas today, which are by far the 2 most important games, right? That's BYU and Villanova and Florida and Arizona. And just in general, like when you talk about UConn, they're 43.5-point favorites against New Haven. Like, you're not going to learn a single thing about UConn for blowing the doors off of New Haven, but you are going to learn a lot about teams that challenge themselves on opening night, because this is their first real test. And you're going to Arizona only returns 4 players from last year, and they're largely freshman heavy. If those freshmen have an awesome game against the, returning national champions in Florida, then okay, now you've learned a lot about Arizona's core. BYU's best player is freshman AJ DeBonsa, who also has a chance at being the national player of the year. And if he comes out and puts on a dominant performance, well, now maybe you're bumping up BYU. So you're naturally going to get more takeaways the higher the competition that you're playing. So a lot of these bye games, 35-point spreads, whatever, like kind of throw it in the garbage. Maybe they cover, maybe they don't, but you're not really going to learn anything about those teams.
Okay, you want to break down those two games here, Arizona at Florida and then Villanova at BYU? Anything you like on the board there for these games?
Yeah, Florida's front court should dominate Arizona's. They're way bigger, they're way more experienced, and they're better defensively, where I think Arizona's front court will struggle. So I think that Florida ends up pulling away from that one, maybe late, but and I think it's right at 3.5 right now. Florida is the favorite. So I don't have anything there, but I would lean them winning by 4+. And then in BYU Villanova, it's interesting because BYU is wildly more talented. And the spread will suggest that. I don't even know if it might have gotten to 10 at this point, but it opened at around 8. And Ken Pom, which I'll typically trust as having a strong number, has that at 5. So the market is clearly a BYU favorite, a BYU fan, and it makes sense. Their roster is a whole lot better. But Villanova's coach, Kevin Willard, is not afraid to slow a game down, muck it up, put it in the trenches, and it wouldn't surprise me if this game ends up being way closer than the talent gap suggests.
Okay, 9.5 right now, I believe. Yeah, 9.5 minus 110 over at FanDuel. Like you mentioned, it was 8.5. Started to push its way out, and then that Arizona game as well. Florida, 3.5 point favorites for Florida, but it's a juiced 3.5 for slightly juiced 3.5 for Arizona. So probably like a true 3 in market. We talked those two big games. Any other big games that you like in terms of betting? Like anything that you have bets on right now that are still available that you can share with the audience? Or
yeah. An interesting one would be Florida Atlantic and Boston College. That's a rare example where a power conference team in Boston College is traveling to a mid-major team in Florida Atlantic. Boston College might be the single worst power conference team in the country this year. And if they're not, they're going to be bottom 5. FAU has a chance to make a mark in the American Conference. So the fact that they're hosting, the fact that they opened as a dog and moved to a slight favorite, but the line didn't go mad like a lot of the lines have gone throughout the board today just because of the insanity of opening night. The fact that you can still get them at probably 1.5, maximum 2 as a short home favorite against a pretty bad Boston College team that should have never been favored on any analytic site. And I think that's kind of what's keeping them at least relatively close in the spread. I'd be pretty surprised if Florida Atlantic loses this, and I think you're getting pretty decent value. All
right, so you like Florida Atlantic there. Any other teams you like in terms of this sport? I feel like you probably have like not thousands, but like tons of stuff down on this. Yeah, just kind of rattle off stuff you like. I'm curious to hear.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, first of all, like if you weren't early today, then you were too late. With a lot of this stuff has moved. Like their one game, Ohio State, IU, Indy had an over move 10 points. It opened up at 158.5 at some places. I think you'll probably maybe you started at 159 depending on the book, but it's at 168.5 now.
Yeah.
It's the right move, but it's absolutely insane. So like I'm going across like what I have, and basically everything is long gone. A game that I quite like, and this is going to go really far off the board, but it's probably why it hasn't moved too much. Utah Tech is a 2.5 to 3 point underdog at South Dakota, and you can't get any more in the trenches than that. I think that Utah Tech's the much better team. A 3 point dog would mean they're even on a neutral. I don't think they're even on a neutral. So if you want to take a off the board game that hasn't moved beyond a price point that I would consider to be very reasonable, maybe take Utah Tech with the points. That's as off the board as you could probably get.
That's all good. I appreciate you going off the board here. You can find that there's a 2.5 at FanDuel minus 115. You can also you can take them on the money line if you want. I believe plus 120 over there. Okay, before you head out here, how do you keep track of all this? There's like so many teams over. Like how is it possible to keep track of all this stuff? And like, at what point do you start to like? Is there ever a feeling in the season where you start to get fatigue? I know probably like sometime between like January and March, but like how do you do it? Like, well, you got to talk me through this.
The best thing about all I do being college basketball is that when it's cold, I live in the Northeast. When it's cold and dark in winter, you're just grinding every single day. And when there's a lot less to do and you're kind of just perusing for transfers or for changes in rosters, it's when it's nice and sunny out. So I will hibernate this winter, keep in track of everything, hopefully making some money and learning a lot about teams. And in the summer, I will prepare for the next year where all the changes happen. But at least it will be summer and I can actually go outside.
I love it. All right. Just hunker down for the winter. Before you head out here, one last question. Give me your boldest prediction for the college basketball season. It doesn't have to be for like March Madness. It just like could be an in-season thing, maybe a player level prediction here. Just give me your boldest where you feel like I'm letting you take the stand. Plant the flag here right now. Let's see your flag plant.
I think a trend that you're going to see once January and February rolls around, so put a pin in this, the gap with all the like the NIL and the transfer portal and all this like talent stuff, it's not only going to affect big conferences, it's going to affect small conferences. The gap between the top and the big spenders of teams and the bottom and teams that just have no money to buy a roster will be bigger and bigger. And I think you're going to see some pretty wild spreads in conference play with the top of leagues and bottom of leagues. And I think that those are going to be pretty profitable just because the talent gap is big as I've ever seen it from the top of enter mid-major league here to the bottom of it.
Interesting. All right. We'll have to look at that for January and February, the gap just being bigger. It's funny because like feels like college football this year. I don't know if you're a big college football, but it's like the inverse has happened where it's like feels like everyone's just been mushed together, but maybe that's just because some of these not as good schools or programs have like big boosters, big backers, and they're finally going to be able to get good players. Anyways, Matt, appreciate you joining the show today. We'll chat soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Awesome stuff there from Matt. One's in the chat for Matt. And that wraps up today's show. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate you guys chatting in the chat. Hopefully you liked today's show. Do us a favor, smash the like button. It goes a long way for us here on the channel. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button as well. I feel like we've earned that from you. It's been a long day. Been a long week here at the Hammer. Long weekend. But yeah, we're still getting these like numbers up, and we appreciate it. What's up next at the Hammer? Let's see. We got Circle Back, live on the Circles Off YouTube channel right after we go. We'll push you to that show right after on YouTube. Right after we get off here, you can check it out. They're gonna be talking tons of stuff, including the UFC fixed betting allegations, which I mean, if you've seen the video, it's pretty damning stuff. Plus the line move. There's a lot to talk about there. Gonna be talking World Series. Jeff is officially a meme. Proud of him, but also sad for him because I don't know if I ever want to become a meme. And then also one more thing that they are going to talk about. I have the run sheet in front of me. I'm just picking off the things that I think that are most enjoyable for you guys. Polymarket CEO on an earnings call just like quickly rattled off 15 words. It's like, yeah, let me just check out what the prediction markets are saying here. Yeah, let me just say Bitcoin, Ethereum, all those things. And it's just, I mean, that was pretty crazy stuff. After that, you're going to want to tune in at 5 p.m. Eastern. Hit the books. Brad Powers, Joey Kanish. I'll be on there as well. Maybe I'll be behind the scenes, that's for sure. I don't know if they're going to bring me on this time, but you're going to want to tune in. Best college football show in the nation. At least that's in my opinion. And then finally, watch along, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Myself, Rob, go live for the Arizona-Dallas Cowboys game. Wow, I can't believe Rob's actually going to be here for that game because he's a Cowboys fan. Feel like if they were underdogs, he wouldn't be here, but 3.5 point favorites or 3-ish point favorites. Expect a lot of pain for Rob. Tonight. I have one survivor pick on Dallas in a pool where I have like 12 entries. So, yeah, you can watch me sweat it live right here not right here, but over on Forward Progress. Anyways, again, one last time before you guys head out, do us a favor, smash the like button. Just takes 1 second to do it, and it goes so far for us here in the algorithm. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button as well. We'll catch you guys here tomorrow, noon Eastern. We're here Monday to Friday, noon Eastern time. Got Edgework overtime. You guys aren't going to want to miss that. Anyways, this has been the Monday, November 3rd edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. We'll see you guys right here tomorrow.